Hi, I'm Zay. A lot of crazy stuff's happened to me over my lifetime so far, and honestly, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Uh, where do I even begin? Let's start with how I got this small. See, I used to be a pretty big guy, and back in December of 2017, I was diagnosed with severe ulcerative colitis. Um, Severe ulcerative colitis is inflammation of the lower intestine, and it basically treats everything like it's poison. It starts to attack your lower intestine, therefore, you lose blood the way you don't want to. The way I was diagnosed is I went to my doctor. My doctor recommended me to a GI. I go to the GI, we sit through this appointment. Like I said, I was a big guy, I was a power lifter, I was 250 ish, give or take, pounds. Sitting there, we do a consultation. I'm telling him what's going on. He looks at me and goes, "Well, you are overweight." And I'm like, "Look, I understand that, but I'm bleeding. Like, I'm losing blood and I'm dropping weight." He's like, "Well, that's good. You could stand to lose a few pounds." I'm not even kidding. He told me I was obese. Like, I understand that. I was a big boy. But that doesn't explain the blood loss. And I'm sitting there, and at the time, I was 20. I'm almost in tears. And I'm like, he's like, "What do you want me to do?" I literally just told him, like, "Fix me. That's what I want you to do. I want you to fix me." He's like, "Ugh, okay, well, we'll do a colonoscopy." Great. Now, if you don't know what a colonoscopy is, Google it. No. Basically, they knock you out. They take a nice hose and they shove where the sun don't shine to check and see what's going on. I'm like, that's fantastic. I really don't want this to happen, but whatever. They set you up. They make you take these little pills. Softens everything up. They make you drink this drink. That's terrible. And then what you do is you basically don't leave the can for like 24 hours. Horrible. Horrible. I don't recommend that ever to anybody. Ever. So, I go to the hospital that day, and I'm cranky, obviously, because you're not allowed to eat any food at all, and I've been on the can non-stop for like 8 hours, which leads to not sleeping, and no food, no sleep, no caffeine. I'm not exactly a pleasant person like anybody else wouldn't be, and they take me in at the doctor's office, and I'm goofing around because when I'm nervous, that's just what I do. And they run an IV on me, and this guy's like, "Oh, I'm excellent in IVs," and I'm like, "Whatever, man, just don't miss." And I have pretty nice veins, always have, and he rolled it and missed with an IV line after bragging to me. I was I was pretty not happy with him. So I'm in the gown, laying there, ticked that this guy just stabbed me and missed, and then re-stabbed me and hit. So I'm like, cool. Wheel me in. What I didn't realize is the guy that I pretty much had an argument with, the main doctor, my GI, was going to be doing my colonoscopy. Because for whatever reason, that just went right over my head. So they wheel me back, and I'm laying there, and the anesthesiologist, I don't like them. They do an amazing job, but going under just really freaks me out. And she's like, "Oh, sweetie, you'll be fine, blah, blah, blah." And, like, "Tell me about your dogs." I love my dogs. I talk about my dogs all day long. So I'm talking to her, and I hear, "Hey, it's me. I'm going to be doing your colonoscopy." And I look over, and there he is, and my exact words were, "Oh, gosh." And the other nurses and the anesthesiologist thought it was hilarious, and he did not. He was like that, which I didn't like him, and he didn't like me. Fine. So he wheels me out, and, well, I come to, like you do. And instead of this 10-minute process happening, I found out it was close to like an hour. I had multiple polyps that were removed and all this other stuff. And I'm finally coming to, and I'm waking up, and he comes through, and he's like, "Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you have severe ulcerative colitis. 99% of your lower intestine is inflamed." Now that's all of it. That's all my lower intestine. And he's like, we have a game plan. We're going to put you on this, then we're going to put you on this, and then we're going to do this, and we got you, we got you, we got you. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm just staring at him because this dude was a total butthead. The first time we met, the second time we met, heck, even before the thing started, he was just being a jerk. And now my mom's standing there, and I'm like, this dude was being a jerk, and she's like, I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. So he goes to walk away, and the only thing separating me and him is a curtain about 10 feet, and he's talking to somebody else, which I can, like, see through my curtain. I can see him. Was back. I'm standing there in a gown, and I'm pulling my pants up, and I'm just seething. Mom goes, I don't understand why you didn't like him. He was so great, and he has a game plan, and blah, blah, blah. And verbatim, I was like, that dude is an asshole. I'm not really sorry I said it, but sorry if you're offended by that. And she was very shocked because typically not my type of language. And she was, again, shocked, and she's like, don't say that. And the guy he was talking to made eye contact with me, and I'm like, And he starts laughing because he heard it. And the doctor turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, Close the little curtain thing, that little extra inch, so I couldn't see him. I'm like, yeah. So there I am with a gown, pulling my pants up all ticked off, and she's like, okay. So she's on the phone with my dad, and she's like, guess what your son just said? Grab the phone, and I'm like, I'll tell him what I just said. I don't care. And if you've ever been under anesthetics, you understand that not much phases you when you come out of them. I'm not saying it's a good time, but so I grab the phone and I'm like, that dude's an asshole. And he starts laughing. He's like, well, was he being one? And I'm like, yeah, he was. So, that was in November, December, something like that. He puts me on low-level anti-inflammatory medication as well as something else, and prednisone. If you don't know what prednisone is, it is a steroid. Not fun. What he did was he put me on 40 milligrams and left the prescription open. 40 milligrams a day. I did not come off of them until April when I realized that that is a huge dose of just constantly being amped up and things like that. And it was working to lower my inflammation, but it wasn't actually helping treat the thing. It was just kind of like putting a damper on it. I went off of them in April because I was in Alaska with my mom. Whole other story. Me and her got into an argument. I made her cry. I decided that day that I was no longer going to take them and wean myself off of them. And that's the first part of my story. I'll probably continue this with a part 2 or 3 because it's a lot longer than that, but see you next time.